You can't hear it, I bet. Double.
All right, episode 3.
The mighty, mighty 3.
Yeah.
Cheers.
What do you think?
That is a double.
Pretty ginny.
So what are we drinking today?
So today we are officially branding this segment the Sip Sip Knit.
Yes.
So today we have a blueberry bramble. So it's muddled blueberries and then simple syrup, lemon juice, and gin.
It's a lot of gin.
I doubled the recipe. I wasn't
It's
sure
supposed-
if it was for a single or one drink or two, so I doubled it just to be safe.
I like it. It's good. It's supposed to be blackberry.
Mm-hmm.
I was like in line at Trader Joe's, and there were 6 people deep this line waiting for Trader Joe's to open. I didn't know it was such a...
Waiting for it to open?
Yeah.
Okay. Not
Yeah.
even to check out?
Nope, we were
Oh, wow.
all lined up waiting for it to open. And I I didn't put it on my list. I just thought, oh yeah, it's blueberries. And then, no, it's blackberries.
Worked out.
So, we are serial knitters.
Yep.
And yeah, we're going to talk about knitting and crafting and all of that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go first or I go first?
Sure. I think you have more than I do.
Not really.
So since we filmed last, we're filming about every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So trying to give ourselves some time in between to finish projects, start new projects, just make some progress to share. I finished my RBG sweater. You saw Coco's last time. So...
Are you going to put it on?
Oh, God, it's so hot in here right now.
Come on.
But I'll put it on.
Let's see it. Because I want to compare the fit to how mine was. Because I thought last last 2 weeks, mine was too big. I made a large when I should have made a small. See, your neckline is so much better than mine. Mine was a little out there. I'm not a small. I should have made a medium, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, yours fits better than mine. Look at her. Look at her. How was the process? What'd you think? You don't have to keep it on.
Okay. Yeah, it's so hot in here right now. It's like 85 degrees outside.
It's 92, actually.
Okay.
So we are in Los Angeles. It is crazy hot. It's the last day of June. And that was probably torture to make you put that on and show everybody.
I also, so part of the RBG is you fold over and stitch the collar down.
To get that rolled.
Yeah, and I probably stitched it a little too snugly, so it's a pretty tight fit over my head.
Oh.
But,
maybe mine was too loose. I could have helped myself. I could always take it out and
I
can
can get it over my head, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But I could have made it a little easier on myself, probably. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It fits pretty snugly through the body, and it's pretty cropped. Like, it is just below my natural waist.
Do you have an idea of how you're going to style it?
Yeah, so I have this skirt I bought from an LA... I think she started as an illustrator, and now she also makes clothes. Her name's Tuesday Bassan. And she has a store in Echo Park here. My sister actually discovered her and has a bunch of her stuff. And she makes these kind of like really fun... with a vintage vibe. There's the dog.
That's Argus.
Dresses and skirts, and so I got this skirt called she calls it a scout skirt. Scout, like scout. A Girl Scout. Oh. So now I own a scout skirt.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a circle skirt. It's pretty voluminous, but it's short with pockets and has brass buttons down the front. And mine is kind of like a coral white woven pattern.
You wore it with your
I wore it with my Pride sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a good high, like it hits, you know, at your waist, so it's good for, I like it for cropped things because I don't necessarily like to show my midriff, so it kind of usually meets a cropped garment, you know, right where it needs to be met.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think, so, Selvage Knits podcast, they do a Style Your Knits section. Maybe eventually we'll get to the point where we can, you know, properly take some time, photograph ourselves actually wearing what we make and do some style our knits as well.
Take the knits out into the world.
Oh my god, knits in public. Cool. Yeah. So that's your finished object.
So that's my finished object for this time.
Not seasonal.
No, I'm not going to be able to wear that one for a while. But I feel like, you know, part of the reason I started knitting sweaters or getting real heavy into knitting is I'm going to Scotland in November. So that will be very appropriate sweater weather. Oh my god. Sweater weather.
Yes.
And so I feel like a lot of my...
Hopefully they're not still in a heat wave.
Oh,
I heard that they are sweltering right now.
Record highs over there.
Yikes. So...
But a lot of the sweaters that in my queue that I've been making have been for that.
Scotland centric.
Yeah. But so I can wear some
jeans, pants.
Yeah. We'll find out.
Yeah. We'll see. See how you do it.
Yeah. I've only focused on the top half of the wardrobe for now.
Right.
So.
Well, you've got the skirt, tights.
Mm-hmm.
You're good to go. Good to go. It's a pop of color, so it's gonna be great. Yeah. And then I finished the Herrera from Pom Pom. I think it was issue 25. It was last year's summer, I believe, the Stripes issue.
Stripes edition, yeah.
So I'm pretty much Pom Pom cosplay right now because I styled it, even the hair, just like they have in the photos of the Pom Pom magazine, complete with black sports bra, the whole shebang. So let me stand up. So there we go. This is it. It's quite large, but it's got a, I don't know if you can see it. It's got a open back with a I-cord strap.
Might need to dip down a little more. There you go. Now I can see it.
Quads. This is why we go to the gym for the podcast. So I think it's great. It is hot today, and I am so comfortable. I am wearing linen pants, flip-flops, this big linen top on, and it's all working for me. It's all great.
And this was one piece that really transformed once you blocked it, right?
Oh my gosh. So I finished it on Tuesday, brought it into work because I was just doing the weaving in of the ends, and it was maybe 11 inches from almost the shoulder seam to the bottom, and I was in a full-blown panic. I was like, this is not how I wanted it to go. This is not what I wanted. Marika tried it on, and it was like a baby crop on you.
It was like just below the bust line.
Yeah. So think about that right here.
Just right to here.
That's how long it was. And I felt like I had knitted a million yards, you know? I thought I went, you know, I told you last time I was a little bit like, I'm not sure if the pattern's right. And I was trying to trust the pattern. And then when you tried it on, I was in a full-blown, like...
Well, because you had done everything to ensure it. Like, you had checked your gauge. You know, you were... You know, you checked the size measurements, you know, you had done all your due diligence to make sure that all you had to do was knit the pattern. Yeah. And then it was still...
So it was a full-blown flop sweat. It was like, what have I done? I've spent weeks on this. So I decided that just take it through, go ahead and block it. And I felt like it had a good amount of stretch, so I was gonna block it within an inch of its life. And I did. And it worked out. Although, I will say, different from the pattern. In the pattern, it said you only needed, maybe I didn't read it right, but it said you only needed 11 inches from the underarm to the hem when blocked. Mine is 17 inches. So I stretched it well past what they said that they wanted for me to block it to.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worse for the wear, but that is, I think, something different than what the pattern said. And then I also feel like maybe my count got off on this upper portion because my armholes just don't have as much give as I felt like the photo had. But with the blocking, I'm fine. I've got a little bit of extra here, and it's so big that this hits kind of near the elbow. So this way, so that you can see it. It hits kind of near the elbow, so I don't need a lot of space. Whereas, before it was just here when we tried it on Tuesday, and that's the thickest part of your arm, so it felt tight.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can put it on, but only just. And I'm happy with my yarn choice.
You feel like the Lindy chain worked out?
Yeah, the finished product ended up half the cost of what it would have been had I used that Shibui. So excited about some savings on that.
It feels like it softened up a little too when you blocked it. Do you find it a little softer?
It's definitely softer than how it felt when I was knitting it. I think that hopefully it'll get softer and softer. That would be ideal. When I first blocked it out, it was a little crinkly. It felt a little crunchy, especially up near the shoulders where my pins had been. There were full-on, peaks in it. So it needed some time to rest, and I re-wet the seam and kind of straightened it back out. But could not be more pleased with this product, especially on today. I'm just so excited.
All your hopes and dreams came true.
Yes, and if you live in a hot climate, I could not suggest it more to you because good breeze comes through, and because it's an open back, you feel, like it's lightweight. You're not too sweaty, and like I cleaned the bathroom today. All in this, we both live in houses that were made in the 20s, so neither one of them have air conditioning. And, you would think you'd be super sweat. And I was, but because it's so flowy and airy, I didn't stay that way. I feel like if I catch a good breeze, I'm back good with this guy on. So I could not be more excited. I think it's one of my favorite. Ooh. How you doing, Argus?
Got some neighbors coming and going.
Okay, it's one of my most favorite pieces I've ever made. So I'm very excited. Because sometimes I make stuff and I'm like, I'm only going to get to wear it for 2 days. But this is going to be worn all the time. So I'm excited.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's move on to work in progresses.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot. I'm just trying to finish what I've got going. What
do you think is going to be the focus now that RBG's done?
Focus, knitting-wise, will be finishing the balloon cardigan. So I'm at the point now where I have to break off the sleeves and start with the buttonholes, so I have to make a button commitment. I think it's going to be the orange leopard print buttons.
I think it should be.
I think that's what it has to be. So I just have to find time to go all the way to Brentwood to get those.
It wasn't Brentwood.
Yeah.
Okay, it was Brentwood.
We went on quite an adventure. It was one of the stores we discovered on the LA yarn crawl. So I think they had like 14 or more different yarn stores within Los Angeles County and beyond. Because I think there might be some in Orange
I feel
County
like there were 24.
Oh, okay.
Just
maybe we made it to 14.
Just trying to remember the grid.
Yeah, but they were
maybe less.
A lot of stores, a lot of geography to cover. And so we kind of took...
LA was loose.
Yeah. We planned it out ahead of time. We started in Santa Monica, worked our way all the way up to the Valley stores, and then worked our way back to a couple. And then at that point, I think we'd hit like 8 or 9 by the end of the day, and then we were
so it gets a little mixed, as I have a hard time remembering, like, was it that one, or was it this one, or was it that one? So
Because, yeah, we
that
went to a bunch
geography
that
lesson
day.
is really compelling for everyone who doesn't live in LA, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but
that's part of LA speak.
So that's what you're going to commit to, the balloon cardigan.
Yeah, that'll be the next one.
Okay.
And then I have to finish the shirt dress I talked about last time.
Yes.
Before I cast on the as if tee.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned the shibui you got at the Knitting Tree on clearance last time.
Yes.
And so that same day and that same sale, let's not show that one. I wasn't planning on getting anything. I was along for the ride. And then these guys popped out and they were, buy one, get one half off. They're both Lang yarns. This one is the Amira, which is 93% cotton and 7% nylon. And so it's like a pretty thick, kind of braided yarn.
Chainette.
Yeah. And so, but I just love this color. Like a deep teal is my favorite color in the world.
My teal.
Yeah. And then, but they only had 2 balls of this. So I was like, well, I can't make anything out of 2 balls.
Yeah.
So I was like, what else do they got? So I found this guy, which is also a Lang Yarns, and it's Cashmere Light. And so this guy is 88% cashmere and 12% nylon. And they're about, I kind of view them as about the same thickness. So that they could work together in probably, I don't know, what would you say? A worsted, maybe?
I think it's just a DK.
A DK? So, like, a good DK pattern, I could use them together. And so I've just been trying to find a good pattern.
So we had talked about the Magnolia.
Yes. And doing maybe the yoke in the dark, and then, because I have more of these than I do of the teal, and so then the rest of the sweater in this.
Mm-hmm.
But this stuff is just so, like, soft and fluffy. I just want to make, like, the coziest sweater out of it.
If we can, we'll put photos up, because I think what was interesting was when we were talking about the Magnolia, trying to figure out how we would do the color work.
Because the pattern itself is just a single color sweater, and it has some, stitch detailing, kind of like lace work-esque, around the bottom of the sleeves and the bottom of the sweater, but the top of it is just a plain kind of stockinette.
So then, because the sweater in the photography of the pattern was a light colored sweater, and I quickly took the photos and kind of mocked up for Marika what the options would look like if she put it on the top, or if she, made I think it was like only doing the bottom, which made kind of like a chevron pattern.
Yeah, only doing like the ribbing or something.
Yeah. So if we can, we'll add those photos here, because I think it was really interesting to see, to visualize it, and then have a better understanding of if your color combinations were going to work. But of those, did you feel like any of them were going to work, or are you going to look for a different pattern altogether?
I mean, I think it would work if I was able to do a more kind of like gradiated transition between the 2 colors, but since I don't really have an in-between color, the only way to do it is to stripe it, which I don't want to add any additional, like, a detracting visual interest up here from the pattern of the sweater that's at the bottom.
Right.
So I don't know, if it's gonna work.
Because in episode 1, when I was showing the Coffee Talk sock, and I mentioned we were talking about using the way that she fades for the toe it was because we were talking about the sweater, like how we were going to change from one color to the other, but it does create these clear stripes. So then I guess the other option would be to find a third color that's somewhere in between, but that seems like a tall order for those 2.
Yeah. So we'll see. So that's got to do some thinking on that one and some more research to see if there might be a better pattern that would fit that.
Yeah. So I am working on the Anker's shirt. Is that what it's called? Anker shirt?
Summer shirt or something?
I should know what I'm working on. But it's by PetiteKnit. And I was using the lantern yarn that I bought from Purl Soho when I was in New York. Mm-hmm. And this is where I'm at currently, working through the yoke. And it's coming, there we go. It's looking so much better on camera than it does in person. Because in person, it's very difficult for me to see the difference in the sections of ribbing. I think I have it inside out also. Let's see if it, maybe I'll have to wear it inside out. Nope, still works. Great. Great. So, again, because I'm always filled with doubt and confusion, day one, cast it on, was knitting through it, and I was like, Marika, it's not working. I'm going to have to rip it all out. I can't see the striations. And she suggested that I keep going until I got to the part where it just goes down to stockinette. So get all the way through the yoke and then see if the difference between it and stockinette and the ribbing is enough of a difference that maybe I want to keep it. And now on camera, I'm thinking that it's going to be fine. It's that I'm up close and I can't see basically the cast shadows of the ridge, but if it's on me, then I think other people would be able to see it. It's just that I'm so close to it that it's not working.
And even like off angle from over here, like the pattern's a lot more visible than it was the other day.
Yeah. And I was wrong when I was explaining it last week. I thought that it was an offset pattern, like tiles that got offset, but no, it's just a straight one by one rib down the yoke. Couldn't be more simple. But I'm having fun. I'm thinking that the neckline might be a little bit wide. She suggested in the pattern that you sew some elastic into it so that it kind of keeps its shape, tightens it up, but we'll see how it looks on. Again, this is a cotton linen blend. I think it is. And I think it's going to be good for summer. So,
do you think you're going to need to wear something underneath it?
When I blocked my sample, it really plumps up and kind of filled in the gaps. So hopefully not. Yeah, it seems like it was going to be good. And after this one, I'm so excited about linen. I'm like, I'm going to make it through the summer. And, it's not hot on the lap when you're knitting it and in the hands. So it's working out. That is my Anker's shirt. Current.
Anything else on the horizon after that? Or you seem to be pretty monogamous these days to your projects.
I feel under the gun. I'm like, I gotta get these things done.
Yeah.
Finished every 2 weeks. I need to show something new. So, yeah, I'm not going through a lot of other stuff at the same time. I'll probably do, like I was mentioning last time, I have that Shibui twig that got a good sale on. So I may do a tank top.
You ever gonna knit that second sock?
Someday. I might knit that second sock. I guess I should just bang it out. That way it's not Chekhov's gun just hanging over our head here. Is that it for knitting? This is going to be the quickest podcast ever.
I know.
I feel like whenever anybody at the top says, okay, guys, this is going to be very quick, it's always an hour and 20 minutes. But actually, this is going to be very quick.
Yeah, it'll be like maybe 30?
32 minutes.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I wanted to talk about is I got this awesome hat when we went to the Ren Fair. Look at her. The dog loves my hat. He just wanted to come over and say, it looks so great. It looks so great. My hat looks so good. My hat looks so good. This was from a booth called The Wheat Goddess, which I just wanted to quickly show you a few of her hats. If you are on Facebook, you can look her up. Let's see if I can do this.
We'll put a link to her site too, because she has some amazing
awesome
hats.
If you just scroll through, have a look, It's just some awesome stuff.
And they also make all the feather kind of fasteners as well, or pins.
It's just great.
And at the booth, they had like a whole wall of the different feather pins, and you could, if you didn't like the one that was on the hat on display, you could swap it out for any other one.
So it seems like she does a lot of things in Southern California. I'm assuming that she's local to Southern California. Mm-hmm. But if you happen to be at a fair and you just want to check out her booth, it's great. And she's got, this piece is a little bit more wearable, but she's got some really great fashion pieces if you're into kind of a 20s or a 40s look. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And I will say, too, like, I was pleasantly surprised because I usually can't wear hats. Cause
we have big heads.
Yeah.
I have a lot of hair and a big head.
And I just have a big head. And so most of the time, like, a one-size-fits-all hat won't fit on my head, and all of her hats basically fit me.
Of course, I bet she does. They come in different sizes if you don't struggle with a large head, but they're just amazing. It's amazing stuff. I guess that's the one benefit. Initially, when we were first becoming friends, it would be hot, and I would be like, do you want a hat? And Marika's like, your hats aren't going to fit me. My head's too big. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait. And they fit perfectly.
Yeah.
She's the only person who can wear my hats. So that works out because, she ever gets caught out, I'm like, I have an extra hat for you. So it's great. We're hat friends.
Yeah. Is that it?
It feels too short.
I know.
The first one was so long. We have to get more work on.
I know.
Oh, one thing, since he's always back here, do you want to talk about your little portraiture?
Oh, yeah, I can't. The camera's blocking him right now. Yeah, so,
this guy, right there.
I can grab him and bring him up closer.
Sure.
So, this guy here, you can see the nose down there. This is a felted wool portrait of my dog.
I can't hold things straight. Yeah, you just hold it. For some reason.
So my mom actually started getting interested in felted wool and found this woman on Instagram. Her name is Dani Ives. Her handle is Be Good Natured. And she does these photoreal pet portraits. Like, she takes commissions, and then she also does original work. And she teaches workshops. And so for my mom's birthday, she was teaching a workshop in Austin. And so my mom and I went and took it together. And so it was a 2-day workshop, and you bring a picture of your pet. And this was the original photo I used for him. And then she teaches you how to transfer it onto the wool, and how, the different techniques she uses for color and depth. And she has you start with the eyes, because she's like, that's where it's going to be made, or that's the make it or break it point. So if you're good at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really cool, and it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Like, this is the first time I've ever felted wool, so I was like, all right, not too bad of an outcome.
How experienced do you have to be at drawing? Not at all?
Not at all.
Good.
No, because I cannot draw to save my life. So it's hard to see. Yeah, you can't really see it on here. But basically, what you do is you go around and you kind of trace with a pin the key points of the drawing. So you put this on top of your piece of felt, and you poke through with your needle.
Yeah.
And then you pull it away, and you can connect the dots with a pen. Mm-hmm. And then you that's how you transfer the image to the felt so you have your guides.
So
that
it's
you just fill in
a little paint by numbers.
Yeah.
But with fiber.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it's great.
So I'd like to do more portraits. I'm kind of interested more in people than animals. So I told Stacey I'd do a felted portrait of Abraham Lincoln for her.
He's my favorite president. I don't know. I just dig him.
Yeah. And I'm also interested in doing, since my dog is mostly black and white, I was interested in the application of like a black and white, completely desaturated portrait in wool. So I have
all of Lincoln's.
Yeah, there aren't any color pictures of Lincoln. So I thought it'd be a good jumping off point. So at some point I'll start that. I have the wool, I have both, and the felt, so I just have to, and we picked the picture I think we're going to use, so I just have to hunker down and get started on it.
That's a long-term project though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's going to, it's definitely a skill that needs to be cultivated and something I need to practice, like, especially I think people are going to be a lot more difficult than animals.
Yeah, especially a known person.
A known person and a very grizzled, textured person.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Now, whenever you see it in the background, you'll know the story of Argus.
Yeah. Maybe next time I'll go over my Louise hat, too.
Oh,
Talk
sure.
about that.
All right. This was easy. Quick and easy.
Yeah.
Just done.
Too hot for it to be any longer.
Yeah, we gotta open the window.
Yeah.
Dying. Okay. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
We'll say cheers to that.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
Happy knitting.